Hi, I'm Rachel with Integrity Builders and Supply and Swine Web, and we are here at World Pork Expo 2023. I'm with Brett O'Brien of Merck. Welcome, Brett.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for making the drive and making the trip to our booth to do this interview. So why don't you introduce yourself and your role for Merck, please?
So I'm Dr. Brett O'Brien. I am a technical service veterinarian with Merck Animal Health. I've been with Merck for almost 7 years now. So I've been in the industry for a little over 12 years, and before that was with production for 6.
Wonderful. So you know a lot about the pork industry. I'm sure you've been to World Pork before.
Oh, absolutely.
And what is the vibe that you're feeling here at World Pork Expo?
Yeah, I think there's always good energy. I always say when we come to a World Pork Expo, it's like coming home to family, right? Everyone is catching up to see what one another's doing, but then also what new innovations or learnings that we have to share and then bring home to our individual operations. So
Most definitely, yes. I think a lot of people love coming here in person just because of the relationships. You get to see people that you normally talk to via email or cell phone. So it's great. For those people who have never been to World Pork Expo but are in the swine industry, why would you encourage them to come to a trade show like this?
Yeah, I think of all trade shows in the swine industry, this one really is the mecca because for all facets of whether it be equipment, biologicals, genetics, etc., all pieces of the wheel that factor into our production systems, they're all here. So if you want to, go to the biggest mega shopping center when it comes to, the biggest pork store in the world, this is really where it's at. And then you've got everyone's expertise, right, behind it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, one thing that they do a really good job here at doing is education.
Yeah.
Could you expand on that?
Yeah, so it's to me it's nice because you've got the ASV breakout centers, you've got the other industry updates. So in addition to what the trade show actually going on, it's what's the latest news in the industry, where the market's at, where's from a disease standpoint, what are our next pressures, risks, and again, when you've got such a collective mass, then the information's shared, but then it's also the value behind the scenes of everyone discussing, okay, what does that mean for them? How can we come up with new ideas to strategize, and work on different things together?
I have to agree with that. There's so many moving parts in the pork industry, so many different roles. For people in the professional field of swine, it's a great resource to come
Absolutely. Yeah. I always say the more minds on something, the better, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're not afraid to ask people questions.
No. Everyone wants to help one another. I mean, at our heart, we're caregivers, right?
Yes.
And so we want to do what's best for the animals we take care of. And that's why I think everyone's so open and sharing, because we want to learn from one another. If things are working, hey, share it so I can adopt that and bring that into my operation as well.
Or just hearing someone else's perspective, because it can give you inspiration to be like, that makes sense. Maybe I should try that on my farm or in my business.
Yep. And I think also when times are tough too, it's that camaraderie of knowing you're not alone, right?
Absolutely.
In situations, so.
What hot topic do you think is happening for you in the swine industry right now?
Yeah, so I think, I know we're in a challenging economy. I know one of the top concerns we hear repeatedly from producers is around labor and labor shortage, and so we're very cognizant of that when we think about what drives, where do we need to focus on innovation of what we bring to the marketplace from Merck Animal Health. We're driven by prevention. We really want to, what our customers say they need, that's where we put our focus. So for labor, that has been a big one in discussions for the last few years, but I think now when we're, the economy is where it's at, that's that much more challenging. So
Absolutely.
how can we find solutions to, help in that front?
Well, find solutions or even be more efficient.
Correct.
in our daily
Absolutely.
happenings on our swine facilities. So Brett, what new products, for those of you who haven't been to World Pork, a lot of companies release new products here at this trade show. What new products does Merck have to offer for consumers this year?
Yeah, so we are really excited that we've got a new product, Circumvent CML, that's launching here at World Pork. It is currently available in distribution channels, or reach out to your sales rep, but it is the first of its kind of a 3-in-1 vaccination for PCV2 circovirus, Mycoplasma pneumoniae, and Lawsonia intracellularis. So it has all three that are key pathogens that folks vaccinate for. It's got the same proven antigens and adjuvants that we use in our Circumvent PCVM offering and our Porcella ciliitis, but we've taken those and combined them into one product. So when we were talking about the labor piece of it, for us, having a combination product that results in fewer injections reduces the amount of stress in that process for both the pigs and the caretaker, less product handling issues. You can really do, folks always clamor, I want to do more with less. And so It's one of those very exciting days, and we've got, hey, we can take two things and now have it into one. And the nice thing is it's a single dose. It's a 2 cc, whereas our standalones for that is 2 cc each. We've been able to bring the volume down. So again, knowing the timing that we typically give vaccines, that's very, very attractive for me. And then you've got less waste too. For some of our producers, the sustainability efforts and being cognizant of how to dispose of stuff, that's another attribute I see with this one. So
absolutely,
we're really excited.
Less waste, efficiencies, and as being a mom whose kids needed boosters but did not like shots, one dose of everything is so much more easier than 4 pokes in the leg.
Yeah, folks have clamored for years for us to get here to this one, and the nice thing is our R&D team really formulated this product. Again, it's the same proven antigen and adjuvants that folks are used to with our Circumvent and the Porcellus products, and so the level of protection that we're able to provide for Circo, Myco, and Lawsonia or ileitis disease.
So for those people out there that may not know what all those technical terms mean, what is that helping the pig overcome?
Yeah, so for Circo virus, they'd be most familiar with PCV-associated disease, and so that's characteristically, it suppresses the pig's immune system, makes them more susceptible to other pathogens, and ultimately results in poor pig performance. You'll see wasting pigs, you'll see diarrhea, you'll see on the stillborns, weak-born pigs, etc. That's the Circo part. The Mycoplasma pneumoniae is a enzootic pneumonia, respiratory disease. So again, vaccines have shown to reduce the impact of that disease. Again, that's going to yield better pig performance. And then Lawsonia is the causative agent, Lawsonia intracellularis, for ileitis. That typically hits pigs, in late finishing. Very typically, folks will see the clinical form of it around first cut time, etc. And because that organism sets up in the last part, your ileum, which is the last part of your small intestine, it propagates in immature enterocytes, and you end up getting what's called a garden hose gut. It's really thick, and all of a sudden the animals can no longer absorb the nutrients coming in efficiently, so they're not growing as well. So for me, you've got the growth, but then we all know that most of the cost going into that pig is feed, and you're not able to draw the nutrients, needed for them to perform the way we expect. So it's great. All three of these diseases are very common, unfortunately, and so these are typical pathogens we need to protect, and diseases we protect the pigs against. So it's nice to have them all in one for an ease of administration. So I'm excited about the convenience factor for sure.
Yes, convenience factor, and just keeping a healthier pig for in our barns and on our farms.
Absolutely.
So Brett, you've been in the swine industry a few years. Who has been influential to you in the pork industry and why?
Yeah. Nope, that's a good question. I can't narrow it probably to just one person, but I will say as a veterinarian, getting around to and working with so many different producers, it's actually the producers and the folks in the barn that are at the end of the day most influential, because I take pride in our industry for what, the labor of love we do to protect and feed the world, right? And change is constant, and I am always driven by innovation and how we can improve things. And I think it's the boots on the ground, like the folks in the barns, etc., that are always coming up with new ideas, new ways to be efficient, new ways to make the animal, better and happier, etc. That a lot of my biggest nuggets have come in actual visits on the farm, and then I have the extra benefit that because I go around to different places, I can spread that word. When there's a win with one, then I can share that with others, and collectively we just get better and better. But I'm always just amazed at the level of innovation that producers are always looking for. So that'd be my most influential.
Just their innovations, their ideas that they come up with on their farm, and their friendliness, and their conversations. Like, it's so fun to learn about all of these producers that we all help.
Yeah, and they never just stick with the status quo, right? It's always pushing ourselves. Like, I had a producer once when I was in production say, okay, well, this year you set pre-weaned mortality target at this. Every year it seems we keep moving the needle. I'm like, yep, we just will keep going. We will challenge to get it as low as we can. So,
Brett, for younger students that are considering whether they're in high school, college, looking at coming into the veterinarian field, what are some words of wisdom or advice that you have for those kids?
Yeah, no, I get really excited when young students are interested in the field. My biggest, some of my words of advice to them is get a lot of exposure. If they're specifically looking into swine, then get with a lot of different, production companies, learn the different business models, learn the production side, because that's invaluable to make the biggest impact. I think as a veterinarian, we have to be cognizant of what the production pressures and needs are, and just engross in the everyday learning. Sometimes I think, one thing for myself is I actually did not grow up on a big farm, so it wasn't until, so I'm always stressing at vet schools, the exposure, because you never know, if you're not exposed to something, whether or not that may develop into, your lifelong passion like it has for me. So, the other one that I would say is that stay open-minded as a veterinarian, especially as a swine vet. There are so many different career options as you go, and not limit yourself to just one. Dabble in different areas, and then surround yourself over time, develop and connect and develop your mentors. So for me, I've got, multiple mentors that have been impactful and that I lean on, that are disease specialists, right, in all different areas. And having that network just makes you stronger. So those would be my key.
Any closing thoughts, comments?
I appreciate the time this morning, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Brett, and we appreciate her and Swine Web for sponsoring this segment at World Pork Expo. Thank you for following along, and if you have any more questions on Merck, how can they find Merck?
Yes, so we would, especially for our Circumvent CML, if you go to drivenbyprevention.com, you'll find all the information on our products there. So